Yeah, people want to have those conversations with their doctor. They want to be talking about brain health. They want to be talking about what might be right for them to incorporate in their daily lives around their brain health. They need to manage their numbers. So think about their heart health, their metabolic health. How do they manage those numbers, and what's ways that they can be incorporating either behaviors or other types of interventions to manage that and benefit their brain long term? Looking at brain health, it's clear people want information. They want that research-backed information. The Alzheimer's Association has the Brain Health Habit Builder on our website at alz.org. It's a way of filling out some questions and getting that personalized information of what might be right for me, what are the things that I should consider, giving me a tool to take to my doctor or my healthcare provider and have that conversation around my brain health, giving me that information and that power to do so.
Hey everyone, this is Jonathan Marks from GoToHealth. I hope you're having a great day. Nearly 9 in 10 Americans, and this is not surprising, say that maintaining brain health as they age is very important, yet so few know a lot about how to take care of themselves. That's according to a 2026 Alzheimer's disease Facts and Figures report that's just been released by the Alzheimer's Association in April. The survey of U.S. adults 40 and older found that respondents identify midlife, between the ages of 40 and 64, as the critical window to adopt habits that may support brain health, as many risk factors linked to later cognitive decline begin to emerge during these years. Now, 7.4 million people in the U.S. are living with Alzheimer's disease. And as much as everybody's concerned about the possibilities of this happening to them, only 9% say they know a lot about how to maintain their brain health. So today, we're going to find out more about the Alzheimer's Association survey and what we can do to prevent decline in brain function. We're speaking today with Heather M. Snyder, PhD. She's the Senior Vice President of Medical and Scientific Relations at the Alzheimer's Association, where she oversees global research funding initiatives that advance innovative Alzheimer's and dementia science. Before we get to Heather, a reminder, you can watch us and subscribe to us on our website at GoToHealthMedia.com or on YouTube or Apple or Spotify. We've got over 300 shows where you can learn all about evidence-based medicine and the various topics we cover. If you like what we're doing, please subscribe. And if you like what we're doing, share that with other people by giving us a thumbs up or a 5-star review. That helps us get the word out to more people. Thanks so much in advance. So welcome to the show, Heather Snyder, PhD. How are you today?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
Good. Lovely to see you. So tell me about the new Alzheimer's Association Facts and Figures report. What does this year's report reveal?
Yeah, this is an annual report that really allows us to look at the impact of the numbers of individuals that are living with or providing care, as well as the cost in our communities. This year's report looks at both the numbers of individuals that are living with Alzheimer's dementia, but also takes into account some of the newer tools that we have for early and accurate diagnosis for individuals that have early memory changes. And we can say that they have those early memory changes due to Alzheimer's. So more than 7 million Americans are living with Alzheimer's dementia today, and more that are living with mild cognitive impairment due to Alzheimer's. So the impact in our communities is significant.
Got it. So you do this report every year. What stood out to you about this year's report, if there's any major difference?
Yeah, I think this year's report, we have a special section that looks at a topic that is very timely. This year's report really looks at brain health and trying to understand what Americans know, what do they want to know, and what do they want to do about their brain health long term. And I think seeing that 90% of Americans say brain health is important as they age, but less than 10% know what to do about it.
So how do we educate people about what to do about it? And can you give us some hints on what we can do about it to maintain brain health?
Yeah, I think it's one of the key things is people are clearly motivated. They want information. They want that research-backed information, and they want to be having those conversations around their brain health with their doctor. I think we're increasingly understanding that there are lots of factors throughout our entire life that may impact our brain health as we age, and specific things that we can potentially do. It's really pulling them together in maybe a brain health recipe, looking at a specific diet, specific exercise or physical activity, cognitive engagement, that using our brain and engaging it in a big way, managing our heart health, our metabolic health, and doing it in a way that we have the structured and support that enable us to continue to come back, even when it's hard to do that behavior change. That's really got to benefit on our brain health long term.
Got it. And is dementia or Alzheimer's, first of all, let me ask you, is there a difference between dementia and Alzheimer's? Can you explain that, or are they really the same?
Yeah, so dementia is really that umbrella term that's really the symptoms, the syndrome a person has. It's the significant changes in memory, thinking, and reasoning that affects an individual's daily life, all of their activities of daily living, and ultimately their independence. There are lots of different causes of dementia. Alzheimer's disease is one of those. Frontotemporal degeneration is one, Lewy body diseases, vascular disease, and in some people, they may have more than one of those that might be contributing to their memory changes as well.
And do we understand what causes this? Is this genetically determined, or is it lifestyle determined? What do we know about what causes all this?
So if we're looking at Alzheimer's specifically, we know that there's a link to both genetics and our environment. So there are things like some of our behaviors, our lifestyle that may contribute to it. But also if you have a first-degree family member, so a parent or a sibling that had Alzheimer's, you are at an increased risk. And most of what we understand are risk genes, if you will. There's been over 100 different variations of genes that have been associated with increased and in some cases decreased risk of Alzheimer's in individuals. And so we're doing a lot of work and a lot of research to try to understand what those genes are, what the role they're playing from the biology in the brain, and how can we target them with therapies? How can we maybe measure those changes as new tools for diagnostics as well?
And it sounds like from what you said before that if somebody has concern about their memory or concern about getting this, that they should really be consulting with their doctor to see what they can do to prevent this or delay it in some way, correct?
Yeah, people want to have those conversations with their doctor. They want to be talking about brain health. They want to be talking about what might be right for them to incorporate in their daily lives around their brain health. They need to manage their numbers. So think about their heart health, their metabolic health. How do they manage those numbers, and what's ways that they can be incorporating either behaviors or other types of interventions to manage that and benefit their brain long term?
So again, you do this report every year. How does the Alzheimer's Association use these findings? What do you do with all that?
Yeah, in addition to just understanding the impact in our communities and ensuring the resources and the programming that's beneficial to the community or will help connect the community with resources that families need, we also look at what are the resources more broadly that are needed. So looking at brain health, it's clear people want information. They want that research-backed information. The Alzheimer's Association has the Brain Health Habit Builder on our website at alz.org. It's a way of filling out some questions and getting that personalized information of what might be right for me, what are the things that I should consider, giving me a tool to take to my doctor or my healthcare provider and have that conversation around my brain health, giving me that information and that power to do so.
And are there some breakthroughs or real changes in technology or research that are changing how we treat Alzheimer's or even prevent it? Is there any news that we should be aware of?
There's a ton of exciting things that are happening. I think that's the swirl that we're seeing in the field. The momentum that we're seeing continues. We currently have 2 FDA-approved treatments that are in use for individuals with mild cognitive impairment due to Alzheimer's or mild dementia due to Alzheimer's, so in the earlier stages. But we're also seeing just an increase in the types of clinical trials and the approaches of clinical trials. The Alzheimer's Association has a large funding program called Part the Cloud to really bridge that gap and get some of those innovative approaches into those early phase trials. And it's been really exciting to see the diversity of approaches that are moving forward and moving through the pipeline. And not to mention all the tools that allow us for early and accurate diagnosis and doing it in a way that we're identifying people at that earliest time point when they're having those initial memory changes and hopefully intervening at that point to stop or slow the progression.
And do me a favor, doctor, for people who may not be familiar with this, give us an overview of what a clinical trial looks like. What's the process of a clinical trial?
Yeah, so I mean, a trial has a number of different lifespans, if you will. So before something goes to the later stage trial, it goes through a phase 1, which is typically testing it in a population of people that may not have the disease or that's being addressed or being targeted. And you're really looking at safety. Phase 2 is continuing to look at safety, but also looking at the dose of a given medication. And you may have some exploratory outcomes that are related to the disease or whether you're stopping or changing the biology. And then phase phase 3 is really usually a much larger trial, and it's asking the question we really want to know the answer to. Does it work? Do people receiving a treatment or an intervention, do they have better outcomes compared to those that are not receiving that treatment at that point in time? And there's a lot of benefits for participating in clinical trials. One, you might get access to things that are really the latest and the newest of what science is providing. But oftentimes, if a trial is positive, you get access to that treatment while it's going through the various regulatory paths or other things as well. So, that's a conversation to have with your healthcare provider about whether there's a trial that's right for you. And if you want to find more about what might be in your community, alz.org has some resources for you.
Thanks for explaining that, Doctor. I really appreciate it. We really emphasize evidence-based medicine on our show, and you've just kind of taken us through the process of how that's developed. Are there some questions that I didn't ask that I should have, or is there a big message you'd like to leave with people today, Doctor?
Yeah, maybe two things. I think one, and you sort of alluded to it, there's so much that's out there. And as we think about our brains, it's such an important organ. So many Americans and so many of us are concerned about Alzheimer's or these other diseases. And the Alzheimer's Association is here as a resource to help give people information and really answer questions. And so would encourage people, if you see things or you have questions, reach out to your local Alzheimer's Association. We can try to give you the information to navigate what might be right for you. And the big other thing I might say is we can all be part of that solution, whether we're telling our own story, whether we're participating in a clinical trial, whether we're advocating for in our community. And I think there's such a role that we can all play in really addressing Alzheimer's disease, but all of the diseases that cause cognitive impairment and dementia. Thank you so much. I
really appreciate the breadth of the services and education that you folks provide. Thank you for doing that.
Thank you so much.
Good. So remember, you can go to alz.org and you can put in the terms Alzheimer's or dementia, find out lots about facts and figures. We've been talking with Heather M. Snyder, PhD. She's the Senior Vice President of Medical and Scientific Relations at the Alzheimer's Association, where she oversees global research funding initiatives that advance innovative Alzheimer's and dementia science. She's dedicated to accelerating the development of new therapies and deepening understanding of disease risk, prevention, and progression. The Alzheimer's Association itself is the world's leading voluntary health organization dedicated to Alzheimer's care, support, and research. Thanks so much for being with us today, Doctor.
Thanks so much for having me.
Good. This has been Jonathan Marks with GoToHealth. Remember, you can see our shows on our website at GoToHealthMedia.com. You can watch us on YouTube or listen to us on Apple or Spotify or other podcast networks. If you like what we're doing, please subscribe and please give us a thumbs up or a 5-star review. That helps get our information out to more people. Thanks in advance. This has been Jonathan Marks with GoToHealth, and as we say at the end of every show, Go to Health. We'll see you again next time. God bless. Bye-bye. Thank you for tuning in today to Go to Health. You are one of almost 10,000 people per day who enjoy the evidence-based health information offered by our guest health experts. You can watch us on our website and YouTube and listen to us on 8 podcast networks. Be sure to join Jonathan Marks in our upcoming shows each week. If you like our show, please share this episode with your friends and colleagues. You can subscribe to the show, join our email list, send us feedback, browse through the online store, and view our library of over 150 shows at GoToHealthMedia.com. See you next time, and remember to elevate your life with Go to Health.